First, Waw Qal Imperative. We've looked at the imperfect, so now let us look at the imperative. The imperative for the first Waw Qal looks like this. We have shava and shave, an alternative form here, two possibilities. Shavi, shavu, shavna. Now these should look or sound familiar to you. We've seen something like this before, right? We saw it with nagash. If you remember, nagash was one of the first nun verbs we looked at. We also looked at nafal. Nafal has the theme vowel holum in the imperfect, yipol, and so it behaves just like the strong verbs in the imperatives. But nagash had the theme vowel patach, and so it had shortened imperatives that were much like this. So instead of shave, we had gash. Okay. Now, what would happen with first vowels if it was also a third guttural? So if we had a word like yada, yada meaning to know, first vav, this actually is, as it turns out, a first vav, not a true first yud. First vav and third guttural, then the theme vowel is patach, and so what we would get is da, and it would be indistinguishable from gash. If you just saw that, you wouldn't know, unless you looked it up, whether the first letter, the letter that was missing, was a yud, in other words a vav, but you look up in the dictionary as a yud, or a nun. They're indistinguishable from first nuns. First vowels are indistinguishable from first nuns in some forms, if they have this patach, and it would have it there if it had the third guttural. If it doesn't have a third guttural, if it's a regular non-guttural in the third position, then you'll see the tsere, and so you know that this is a first vav. But it's much the same. You have shave just like you have gash. Now in these forms, the first or the theme vowel is reduced. So these do look like first nuns. You cannot tell the difference. Or the first nuns that have the shortened imperatives anyway. Okay, now what did I want to say here? The original first vav is absent in the imperative, like the imperfect, like the rest of Qal. Okay, that's up here. Tsere reduces in the inflective forms. Well, okay, that's down here. That's what I mean here. Shave becomes shava. We've seen that before. It's always like that in these forms always have the reduced theme vowel because they come from these forms here, the forms that have vocalic suffixes. So, no big surprise. First vav, third guttural have patach instead of tsere. Okay, that's like this. First vav, third guttural. So if it's third guttural, you have a patach, and then all four of them are exactly like nagash in the imperative. And I think I have all this here in a nice little table. So I've got the strong verbs just as a point of reference. Pikod, pikti, piktu, pikodna. All three letters, right? In these three boxes, we have first vav, third guttural, yada, and first nun. In all of these, the first letter drops. So that's what's different from the strong. Now, if we move here, let's go right to first nun. So we had gash, gashi, gashu, gashna, right? That looks exactly like da, de-i, de-u, dana. Because this is first vav and third guttural, and so you have this patach as your theme vowel, and first nun, nagash, has patach theme vowel. So you can't tell any difference between these. If you move over to the regular, or the more common first vav that has the tsere as the theme vowel, the one without the guttural, then in this form you can tell the difference because the tsere distinguishes it from first nun or from these ones with the guttural. But in these forms, they all look the same because your theme vowel has disappeared. It's been reduced. Okay. Anything else? No. If that's a bit confusing to you, what you should walk away with from this is that first nun, some first nuns, the ones with the patach theme vowel, and first vavs both have shortened imperatives. That's probably sufficient. If you know that, then you can come back and look at the details if you ever need to do that.